Hello, I'm Andre van Barneveld from Graise Consultancy. Together with AHDB, I'm bringing you some of these short videos. And this one's talking about the spring turnout, probably especially focused towards the spring block carver. And I want to talk about why we want to do this and what we're trying to achieve in the spring turnout in early to mid-February. And the first reason is obviously to optimise pasture intakes in the cows. By getting pasture into the diet, we are allowed to reduce the overall cost of the diet, reduce the cost of expensive concentrates, because we're adding digestibility and protein into the diet, and that's first and foremost for the cows. Number two is to utilise the pasture efficiently. So it's really important that we don't have all this pasture on hand and we try and get it into the cows rather than to be getting through poor weather conditions and low utilisation and wasting that pasture. And number three is to maximise the recovery and growth following grazing. It's really important that the pasture is grazed effectively down to a good residual without doing too much damage, minimising the soil damage so that the pasture recovers quickly, because it's so important to get good pasture covers back for the start of the second rotation. So when we're looking at the pasture wedge, and hopefully you've got some covers sitting at 3,000, maybe even higher covers, and then coming down into a nice wedge. When we first turn the cows out, we're going to be trying to focus on this middle ground, the 23 to 2,500 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Why? Because they're shorter covers. It's easier to get the cows to graze down to the right level. They'll get a little bit more area. They'll be a bit more spread out to reduce the risk of doing soil damage. And they'll graze that down very easily to the right level and get good recovery to achieve that number three, to get that good growth for the start of the second rotation. Once numbers build up and you have more appetite and numbers on hand, we're then going to look at going into that top end of the wedge and get through those higher covers. And then the bottom part of the wedge is the stuff that you're probably not going to graze until after the middle of March. And this might be an area that you're really going to focus on in this early part with slurry and perhaps some chemical fertilizer if the growing conditions and soil temperatures are right.